You saved my soul tonight. I'm humbled at your feet. Surrender my life to your hands, to your son who died for me.
That's not here yet.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome.
How is everybody doing out there in YouTube land?
Yeah. Well, it's 4 is showing, but no one's saying anything yet. There's Pamela.
Hey, Pamela. Welcome in. Yeah. Pamela, she's our faithful viewer and person that comes in the chat. She writes in the chat. She comments. She's always there. She's faithful.
We appreciate
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Her and Claudette are just
wonderful supporters. Yes.
Like I said, I looked to the left because my big monitor, but I did get an external camera, and I just got it today and haven't had time to put it on. So hopefully it's going to work. And then when I'm looking this way, I'm looking at my big monitor.
Abnormally normal. I have got your giveaway all packed up. James is supposed to mail it tomorrow. I just want you to know I hadn't forgot about you, but I usually do my do them on Friday, so James can get them in the mail for me because I can't do that. Go to the mailbox, but Abnormally Normal won a giveaway on Monday when I was in Janine's and Denise's. And I wanted to let her know that. Does she come into your auction, Josie?
I have not seen her before. Welcome.
Welcome
Hi,
in. There she is. There's Claudette. Yep. We were just talking about you, girl.
You're always faithful and supportive, and it's wonderful. We've got a really serious subject today, and hopefully we're going to get the audience input.
Y'all share us out and see if we can get a few more people in. But whatever we have, we're just going to continue with our facilitation and y'all to chat and let us know how y'all feel. And we're just going to go on.
Because the replay, people can watch the replay. Anyway, our subject today is, how do you think your past affects your life today? And I did, as normal, I type out notes so I don't forget everything I want to say. Plus I ad lib, right?
Yeah, that's what I do. I write down a few things, and then from there I go into, Lord, please help me remember what I wanted to say at this point.
Yeah.
There's Randy. Hey, Randy.
Hi, Miss Randy.
I hope you're doing well. I got this pretty headband thing when Randy was doing her auction the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to get it. It was real pretty.
Mm.
It was a little different than these cloth ones that I wear, It was a little different than that.
Yeah. Well, that's always fun to get something different for your hair. Mine feels so good. I can't believe I'm glad all that bush is gone. But I may not have Oh, okay.
She said she'll send an email just in case. Great. Josie has beautiful this isn't her auction tonight, but she has beautiful things that she auctions off.
Thank you.
So you'll want to visit her channel when you're able to.
And my introduction is we all have a past. Some parts bring smiles, while others bring pain, regret, or unanswered questions. Tonight, we're reflecting on how our past experiences may still be shaping who we are today and whether we are living from healing or from hurt. Hi, DL. Welcome, welcome. Hi,
And
Susie.
Susie,
Welcome,
welcome
welcome.
in, y'all.
So we will put out, different things that we're saying, and and most of the time we use ourselves as an example also. So you might learn something about us that you didn't know before.
Yes.
And the main thing is we learn right along with you. And my frustrations at my age, I've learned, not that I know it all, don't get me wrong, but I have learned through experience and wasted time. And I hate to see younger people waste their life off of a past that doesn't really mean anything anymore. So I'm going to be quiet a minute and let.
Well, our topic being about how does your past affect your life, your present life today? And I want to say it is a present. It is a gift for us to be able to wake up every morning and try our best to become a better person than we were the day before and live at peace. And I know sometimes our past can interfere with that. And let me tell you something. People may come on YouTube and act one way, but you don't know what they lived through. You don't know the heartaches they've been through. You don't know the pain they have lived through. But what I want to say about that is for you to learn through that pain. And I'm going to tell you something. It's not easy to go through a traumatic experience or through a bad childhood and then decide one day, okay, I'm going to be different. You know why? Because it's so hard to unlearn something that you've already learned. Unlearning something is the hardest thing to do. When you get in the habit of doing it one way and then you're right-handed and somebody tells you to start using your left hand all the time, it's hard, but you can get there. And that's what mostly we're going to be talking about is working through your past and it not interfere with your present time of where you are now in your life.
You know what? I think I put too many zeros in my email address.
Well, you put 3.
Oh, I got to do it over. Forget that one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So don't ever think, I don't care how old you are, and Josie can probably testify to this. Don't ever think you're too old to stop doing things that hurt you in your past or are using them to not be able to accomplish something that you want to accomplish. Break that generational curse. That's what I did growing up. I broke a generational curse in my family so my children do not have to live the life that I lived. Mm-hmm. So, that was my goal. I wasn't sitting back self-pity. Oh, I was treated so bad when I was a child and I was done this. And now don't get me wrong. I had my moment and I still had my moments years after that, but I continued to try to grow through it.
Yeah. And here I've written down the past shapes us, but does not define us. Our upbringing, relationships, hardships, and choices influence how we see the world. However, influence is not destiny. We are not required to stay the person you become just to survive your past. And I was saying something backstage to Angie. It's like God gave us free will. So when we become adults, if you had a bad childhood, if you were mistreated, you have free will now. You can change. It's not easy. You might have to get professional help. It may take years, but you can't blame everything on your parents and hold that grudge and be mad and ruin what God's given you. He's given you the present right now. Right now, we don't know about tomorrow. We can't go back and change the past. And on the average, and I'm speaking of myself, if I hadn't made some bad choices, my life wouldn't have been as difficult as it was. But if you get into a bad relationship, you can't always blame that other person. You chose that person. You've seen the red flags. You could have said no. You could have walked away. But you chose to stay. And so then when you separate or divorce or whatever, you're still angry and you're mad and you hate that person. How about taking responsibility and saying, I suffered because I chose that person?
You allowed it.
You allowed it. So when you hang on to that anger, you're never going to find real peace with somebody new, because you're going to watch that new person and you're going to think, oh, well, they're going to end up someday treating me just like the last person did. So that's why I mean, like, God gave us free choice. You have free choices in your decisions.
I have went through times in my life that I would see how another person was treating me, and I would just stop and say, Angie, you can't fully blame them. You allowed this. You have allowed it to become a habit for them to be able to treat you the way they're treating you. And it's partly your fault too. I mean, that's what I would say. I allowed it. And then I would take my responsibility. And you know what? After that, I began to change it. Yep. I was like, the buck stops here. I'm not allowing it anymore. It stops. I'm not doing it.
Yep. And then painful past, when you hang on to it, many behaviors we carry today were once survival tools. You guarded hearts, fear of trusting, people pleasing, staying silent to keep peace. I'm guilty of staying silent to keep peace in my younger life. You know,
yeah.
I was
because that's a taught thing at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the same way. You know, you learn that because you don't want the conflict that's coming.
Well, in my case too, my parents fought every single day, not physically, but words, cussing,
just argue, and yeah.
And I was determined when I got married, I wasn't going to have that kind of a marriage. I was going to have the perfect one. Well, there's no perfect.
Yeah.
That I did not argue. I, believe it or not, as mouthy as I am today in my old age, I did not. My first husband and I, we were married 10 and a half years, and we never argued.
Yep. That's to learn. That's something like with me. My mother hollered. She would just scream and holler. And I would say, I'm not hollering. I'm not being a screamer. I'm not hollering at my children. I'm not hollering. And now when someone hollers at their child, if I see it, or someone raises their voice to me, I'm like, whoa, 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 step back. You know, that still gets to me, you know.
It brings up. Hi, Gray.
Yeah, Gray. Somebody, yeah.
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. I'm glad you found my channel.
Randy said, truth is the person you are really angry at is yourself. Just don't want to accept responsibility.
Yeah. And if you don't accept the responsibility and admit, you can't change. If you don't admit anything to yourself and you think you're doing everything right and you're perfect, you can't change. There's no reason to change then,
There's
right?
no reason to think about making changes because you already think you've arrived. You know, that you know everything.
It is accepting responsibility. It is, all of this is it takes time. And it's like I told Angie again, and let's face it, we all know I'm old. I'm 84. I've went through all of this. And when I was young, I didn't think old people knew anything either. I was just like all the young people today. But as you get older and you have went through and you have maybe conquered some of the things, you hate to see people that you admire or love or like go through those same stupid things that you did. And that's why old people lecture or give their opinion when they shouldn't.
Because they crossed that bridge and they know the pain of that.
Exactly. And it's not fun to live with regrets.
I heard someone say responsibility is your ability to respond to what you need in your life. You know, not what you see other, like people will take on other people's responsibilities and they'll say, oh, I'm responsible for that. No, it's how you respond to what you need and what you need to grow, not what you need to do for somebody else.
You can't
That's
change
what
anyone.
responsibility is. Your ability to respond to your needs.
Yeah. You cannot change anyone. You might give them some ideas, some clues. You might be there for them. You might be the shoulder they need, but they have to want to change themselves. You
and
cannot
don't
change.
even attempt it because it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it is not.
Hey, Ella, welcome in.
Hi, Ella. And the past can teach us valuable lessons. Every struggle carries wisdom. So if you struggled with money, relationships, education, your faith, and I will get into it. Somebody might be offended. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. I hear people say they're a Christian, yet they have about this much faith. They complain and whine and get mad at God, get mad at everyone. But did you give it to God? Did you give your fears to God?
Yeah, quit trying to fix it and just let it, and it's hard. I'm not saying it is so hard to do that.
It's hard. Yeah.
It is so hard. A lot of times we go to God, we give it to him. 2 hours later, we feel better. It's like, okay, well, I can take it back now. I can handle it. I'll take it back now. You don't have to do it. I got it. You've got other things to worry about. You got the whole world in your hands. I'm nothing. I got my problems. Just let me do it. But thank you for holding on to it for a couple of hours. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to turn it over and somehow we may think we're weak by allowing ourselves to give it all to God because we're thinking, well, we were taught all our life to take care of what we needed to take care of, that showed maturity. But what shows faith and maturity is for you to be able to trust.
Yeah, we want to be in control all the time. And then when we can't accomplish what we want to accomplish or tragedy is hit, all of a sudden we want God to come in and fix it for us. But we never gave it to God to begin with. We just we want this miracle. And like I said, none of us are perfect. I don't care who it is. And I don't care how hard you try.
I don't know if Josie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Josie. I feel like there are people my age that are walking around that are 10, 11, 15 years old, emotionally, spiritually, they're not mature, and they are pretending to be an adult because they don't want anybody to know how emotionally raw they really are. But here's the thing. If you come clean, like just let people know, look, this may look like 58, but I'm about 15 years old when it comes to my emotion. So I'm working on that. So if I act a certain way when things happen and I don't seem very mature when things go down, it's because I never really grew up in that area of my life. And that's what happens a lot of time. People don't, they mature physically, but they don't mature emotionally or spiritually or anything like that.
Yeah. I would like to ask the audience, what in your past, and I mean, and you don't, if you don't want to share it, that's fine. I understand. What in your past do you think is hampering you today, slowing you down, stopping you to reach your goal? What do you think?
That's a
Is
good
it,
question.
is there
I hope somebody answers. I hope somebody answers. That's a good question.
And I use if you don't mind, I'll use myself as an example again. When I was growing up, very strict Italian family, but my parents, they were both uneducated. I have two siblings. I'm the only one that graduated high school. My parents weren't active in my school life, so in those days, if your parents didn't belong to the PTA or something, you kind of got ignored. My teachers gave the feeling that I really wouldn't amount to much. And that's another example why people shouldn't be judgmental. I went on to got married, had a family. In my 30s, went to college, become a licensed nurse. And in between that job was a purchasing supervisor in a hospital, created the department. So my past, and why I'm saying this, don't ever let your past slow you down. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. I don't care how old you are, you can get that education.
My experience in life, good or bad. Wait a minute, we're echoing. And an opportunity to learn something.
Yes, exactly, Randy. You can, don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do it. Or, sometimes I don't think parents deliberately mean to favor one over the other, but sometimes it happens. And kids grow up thinking they're not as worthy as a sibling. Don't ever let anyone, friends, relatives, tell you you can't accomplish something just because you were put down when you were a kid or when you were a young adult.
I agree, Claudette. Learning it's so much fun. Mm-hmm. I try to learn something new every day, and sometimes I just giggle like, how did I not know this before? Why am I just finding this out now? But like Josie, my childhood was emotional disconnect. I mean, my mom, I had an alcoholic stepfather who was not an angry one, but just was a quiet drinker that stayed to himself a lot. He was a hard worker and he brought in good money for our family, but we never was connected to him because my mom would not allow it. But then she emotionally detached herself from all of us. She didn't support us in sports. She didn't support us. We could have went to school or not went to school. She didn't care. We could have made good grades or bad grades. She wasn't worried about it, and we just didn't have the support that we needed growing up. I think that's why I never went to college, is because I never was encouraged to go until after I married. I went on to college. Mm-hmm. But right out of high school, I didn't, because no one pushed you to do that. because it was more about her than it was about her children. But I'm just saying, don't let that hold you back, because I went on to college. I accomplished a lot. I had a lot of good jobs and broke a lot of different family curses that my children, like I said, I'll never know about. I was never told as a child that I could not. I was told I could accomplish anything, but got fussed at because I didn't try to my potential. Yeah, that's another thing that can be hard when a parent sees that a child, or they think the child's not working to their potential. That can cause issues also. They want you to be an overachiever, and you're like, hey, I'm doing all I can, and that can make you think, am I not reaching? Am I not good enough? Or am I not? I mean, come on now, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like in my past, my dad went to the 4th grade, because that generation, I mean, he had to quit school and help support the family. Can you imagine working in the fields and that young? And my mom went to the 8th grade. So school wasn't priority to them. It wasn't something that they had plans. And that generation, girls, they were taught mostly to get married and have kids.
Right. That was their main goal, was to find a husband. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I accomplished all that on my own.
Well, let me ask a little question that would lighten the chat up a little bit. When I was growing up, you get caught up, and this is something very simple that you don't ever think about. Like the things that your parent or grandparent bought, that when you got married, you just automatically purchased it, especially when it comes to food, like Lipton tea, Sunbeam bread, Blue Plate mayonnaise. You just wouldn't veer from certain things that you saw being put in the buggy when you grew up. Then one day I thought, I'm going to try a different. Now, this is crazy. I'm going to try a different mayonnaise. I don't think I want to try that. I felt like I was doing something wrong, honestly. So I picked up another one and brought it home. The family was like, oh, this is great. So even in the small things that you don't think that you are attached to growing up, and it's nothing wrong with that stuff. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you're trained to do the things that your parents did to a certain extent. Buy the things they bought, say the things they said, like the people that they liked, bank at the same bank that your family banked, or go into the same stores. I mean, go into a different store. You don't have to go in the same store, but we just don't see it.
Yeah, that reminds me when you said about parents. Naturally, I came from an Italian family, and they were all Catholics, but except my parents only went to church on Easter and Christmas. But when I was 19 and I changed churches, I got out. I didn't go to the Catholic Church anymore. I was just terrible person. And my mother said, well, what was good for my parents was good enough for me. And I said, well, it's not good enough for me.
You wanted something different.
Yeah, because they actually wouldn't baptize my daughter in the Catholic Church, because my husband and I weren't married in the Catholic Church. And I said, I'll find a church that will.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I talked to about 3 different priests. And I won't bring that subject in, but I'm just saying that was my mother's thought was, well, what was good for my parents. And I'm not saying not to respect your parents, but your parents don't always make the right decisions either.
Right. Think about you becoming a parent. When I became a parent, I didn't have a book that said, do this, do this, do that. I was just winging it. Do you think that I let my son know that I was just winging it? No. No, he thought I knew everything. I didn't know hardly anything about being a parent. I was just winging it. And I call him my test baby all the time because James and I just didn't have a clue what we were doing. And we were just playing it by ear. And we were just, which he turned out fine. I mean, he's a great father, husband. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, no, think about your parents. They didn't come here with a book either. They didn't know everything.
I thought that same thing, Angie, and I said that to my son a couple years ago, and you know what he said?
He already knew it.
He said, Mom, there is a book, the Bible.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I was shocked when he said that to me.
Yeah.
That when you're that young.
They did grow up in the word. I can't say that.
Yeah. When you're that young, you don't think about that. You know,
I did a lot of praying, can I tell you? And praying and crying. Yeah. Lord, please tell me what to do. I don't know. This baby's crying, please. But what's some of the things that your family, that you've changed from what you were brought up doing, that you've changed in your life so far, that your family did, but you changed?
I would like to hear something in the chat. Like Randy, I liked a remark. Back in the day, girls went to college to expand their horizons and snag a husband. Is that what you did, Randy?
Did you snag a husband in college, Randy?
I could see Randy doing that. I love teasing Randy anyway.
I know, I do too. She is so funny.
Oh.
But just like it didn't matter how small or how big of a thing that, like Josie, she changed churches.
My life is nothing like
failed husband snagging in college. She failed a husband snagging in college. She didn't do that. That class, that 101 she didn't make that class. That 101 didn't make it.
Oh.
But
find out more about your history, Randy.
Oh yeah, Randy must tell. Do tell, Randy. Do tell.
Yeah. But I'd like to hear, has anyone realized and progressed from something that was really bogging them down and preventing them from growing? Have you figured that out? Have you made some changes to get yourself, to where you are today in a much happier spot?
And it's amazing how one event in your life can cause so much pain that it sets you back for so long in order for you to feel like you can stand back up and start making a change. I mean, I know some friends of mine, people that I've lived in this town with, they've lived through so much, and you think, how in the world did they get back up and keep moving? But they do, and that to me is amazing that somebody can do that.
It's just like when you lose loved ones. There's a time for grieving. There's a time, and you're not ever going to forget the hurt, but you have to go on. That person you lost wouldn't want you to give up your life and stay stagnant because you're still grieving. And I think people, if they can't get over it, need professional help. I'll say this honestly, I am opposed to groups that they're supposed to help you, but all they do is talk about the same story over and over. And
is it like they enable you?
Yeah. And in fact, the reason why I'm bringing this up, there was a lady in the church in Nevada years ago who had lost a child, and she knew I had lost a child and kind of asked me for some help. She was going to a group, and every week that they rehashed all the deaths they never really grew. She was always depressed.
because they kept talking about it over and over and over again. Which
Mhm.
I do think you should talk about the loved one that passed, and remember the good times that you had, and and I do think you should talk about the time that happened to them, whatever the case may be. I don't think you should dwell on that.
Yeah,
But
you can't
uh,
rehash just like when I talk. If you ever watch my memorial videos, my daughter left me so many beautiful memories. And her faith is the faith I have today is because of my daughter. 9.5 years old, and she had more faith and said things when she passed away, before she passed away. And it's been my strength all my life.
we
And
got a little bit of taste of what's going on. Randy said, I should have married the guy I walked away from, but it's all good. She said, I'm concerned for those who lose someone they loved and let that ruin their life.
you're right,
Yeah,
Randy. That's
because
that's
mhm.
that's why Angie and I do these shows. Also, if we're learning right along with you, you think we're perfect. No, we're not perfect. We struggle, but as you work on it and you grow, you find that peace that you didn't even know existed.
And the pain that some people have to go through, they have cried so much that they can't cry anymore, that their body hurts because they've cried so
Mhm.
much.
Yep.
That's not in vain. I mean, that's not going unheard. I mean, don't think that it's something that's just nobody cares about, because really people, if you find the right people, and there's some out there that just want to know, but then you have some that really do care about your pain.
Mhm.
Claudette said one event turned out to be 3-4 years, and once I forgave this person in my 30s, I was able to start healing. I have been to many support groups and shrinks. See, there's nothing wrong with that. I've actually had to go to a psychiatrist during my time of getting through the main part of my pain. And
Mhm.
I don't think that I was a Looney Tune. I just think I needed to an extra step to get through the pain that I was feeling.
Yeah, yeah. And and I know uh, I'm very outspoken. I'll admit it, and opinionated. And I always say this to remind people the reason why I am this way is when my daughter was ill, family and my husband didn't want to believe it, and I carried all the grief and by myself, and that's why I'm adamant about being realistic, not living in. It doesn't mean you give up and you're negative, but it lets in the possibility that something may happen. And to me, it gives me the strength that I'll be able to cope with it when it does happen because I've allowed it in, but yet I don't let it bog me down.
I get that. Yes.
So, yeah, because some people say, oh, if I don't talk about it, it's not going to happen. That's not true.
Randy said they kept holding on to that memory as though it just happened. It's a choice. I know someone that lost his wife, and he still is back on that very day. And this was back in the 80s. It's
Mhm.
2026, and he still lives that day over and over again. Life is receiving and loss. It flows nature and existence. A flower grows and blooms, is beautiful, gives pleasure, but then it dies. But next year, its seeds create a new flower.
That
True.
is that is beautiful, Randy.
TZ, welcome in. Welcome in.
Hi, TZ. Yeah, it's not that we can't do anything to prevent tragedies or hurts, but we can work through them. And you have friends, family. If you have no one, to work through, and you can get professional help. Or, if you have your faith, it takes time. You can get through them though.
We have to remember it's a choice. And a lot of times we're afraid to take, especially where I know we're on the subject of passing of a loved one, because that seems to be the hardest thing for us to deal with. And I want to say this. I think the hardest in my mind is for someone to deal with is the loss of a child. I cannot even fathom and will not even comment on somebody that says that and try to give them any, words of wisdom. No, I will just love them and that's it. But they're afraid, I think, to take the next step because they may forget about their child, those moments. But that child's never going to be forgotten. Like Josie does a memorial for her child every year and remembers her. And I think that is awesome. And for somebody to dislike those videos just blows my mind.
I got a thumbs down one time. I got a thumbs down, and I thought, I'm really sad for that person. I pray for that person.
TZ
like
says, go ahead.
I said, my daughter is who gave me the strength I have today. I give it all to her.
And just think about when y'all reunite. Oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. My husband is very sick. He's been my best friend for 19 years. That's TZ.
Yeah, my new husband, she says.
Yeah, my new husband. Yeah.
Oh, TZ, I'm so sorry.
I'm very sorry for that.
That's hard. That is really hard.
I lost my mother and son in the same year. It took me 4 years to get back to myself. See, it's not overnight.
No.
And look, I can say this, grief does not have a time limit.
No.
Okay, but I think also, even though it doesn't have a time limit, because I've grieved people, my brother who passed away, my grandmother who was very close to me, it doesn't have a time limit, but like she said, it took her 4 years. You got to get to a point where you say, okay, I'm gonna step out again. I'm going to start trying to do something different, And if you don't do it the first time, step back, try it again. And then one day you'll find yourself moving again.
It's like if you get bucked off of a horse, you get right back on it. You can accomplish anything with faith, time. Like I said, if you need professional help, and there's some good ones, you have to be careful for therapy.
It is okay to be angry. It is okay.
Okay.
We were given the emotion of anger for a reason. Okay. We got to learn how to use it. And it's okay to feel angry and mad. It's just how you control it, and how you use it in a way that doesn't destroy somebody else's life.
I was so angry. I divorced a good man. Talk about angry, because he believed his mother and my mother that my daughter wasn't sick, and she had.
Is that what you call cutting your nose off to spite your face, Josie?
Exactly. And he finally, a couple years before he passed away, and he passed away 2 years ago, he looked at me, came to visit my son, and he said, our mothers didn't help the situation, did they? And it was his way of apologizing. But he was a good man. So I know what anger is. I just hope that we can prevent someone else from making drastic bad choices because of anger.
And your whole life could have been totally different than it is now because of you making that one choice of deciding to not work through something that went on in your childhood, something that went on in your adulthood, something that happened to you, and you just are so angry and hurt that you can't get past it. And believe me, I have been there.
You go in your freezer, your ice chest, frozen ice. I was that cold.
Ooh,
That's
Josie, you was cold, girl.
that's what hurt and anger does. And I'm very thankful I'm not that person anymore. And I
Get,
don't mind using myself. If Angie and I can help one person, I don't mind using myself.
oh yeah, I'll tell it. I mean,
Yeah.
if I've worked through it and I've conquered it and moved on, because I'm the type of person I don't want to wallow in it
Yep.
and tell my story all over again. This is where I am. I'm saying no. If once I get through it, I'll talk about it. That's the way I am. Get tossed from the horse, get up, look him in the eye, and say, "Okay, bub, I'm the boss here." That's a good one.
I can see. Can you see,
No,
Randy?
Randy's going to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see her telling the horse what for, and
Shaking her finger doing this. Lost my mother 4 years ago, and it feels like yesterday, but I remember her words: no sulking, sulking, sulking. I'll be there in the spirit.
yep,
I
your
watched
mom.
my mom go through losing two sons, different years. She still has not found herself at age 84.
Wow.
I lost my son and have three living. See, none of it. See, that's my point, Josie. And you can elaborate on this when I get finished. Nobody knows when we come on this camera what somebody has lived through, unless, like right now, people are sharing it in this chat.
Yep.
You know, nobody, Josie and I are sharing things about ourselves. They can come on here and be one way, but you don't know. Like Josie said, she was cold as the ice up in the freezer. You don't know what someone's gone through. So we shouldn't just automatically be cruel to somebody because we don't really know their history or what made them like they are.
That's why it really bothers me when I see rudeness in social media, or very negative comments, or being judgmental just because I believe in something. I don't dislike you if you don't believe like me. Uh, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not ashamed of mine, and I will talk about my faith, but I'm not trying to, judge you.
TZ said anger is a positive, negative emotion. If you let it go and not hold on to it, you keep yourself uplifted. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it says never let the sun go down on your wrath. Because if you go to bed angry, you're going to wake up with that, what you went to bed with. You're going to be thinking about it. You're going to be more angry when you walk through that next day. You got to just somehow find a way to let it go.
Yep. Hi, Sharon. Welcome, welcome. Well, I shocked my son a couple of years ago. I said, I've never talked about having a bucket list. Never. I mean, that's just not a subject for me. And I said, Clint, I said, I've got a bucket list. He looks at me and like, oh God, what's my mom going to say? And I said, heaven. And he had this fantastic smile on his face. He said, "Okay, Mom."
That what I was expecting, but that's a good answer.
Yeah, and because I've never been that person that has 5 or 6 things that ahead of me that I want to do. I just get in and do them.
Randy said, I have forgotten most of the negative things I've lived through because I chose to focus on the new day, not the yesterday. Exactly. That's what we're talking about right now, Randy, is we've got to focus on today. And today. When we get tomorrow, which will be today, we need to live it to the fullest. Work through our past that is really hard, which I don't have any of that left now. I'm at total peace with my past, I'm good.
Yeah. That's why Randy, and I think Angie probably would agree with me. We've never seen you talk negative in an auction or social media. you might think you know it all sometimes.
And I'm not saying you don't know a lot.
Yeah.
You
No,
know a
but
lot about a lot.
seriously, I'm just teasing you.
We
But
like to joke
really,
with
you've
Randy.
got a smile on your face and you've got positive vibes, and that's good. That's a good thing. And I'll bring in religion again. It took me, it's been about 2 or 3 years that I totally gave my life to the Lord. I'm probably at peace more than I've ever been in my life. And it took me a long time to get there.
And I'm going to tell you something. Once you find true peace, there's no turning back. It's like nothing's going to disturb this. No one's going to bother this. It's just like something you can't explain. You can't explain it.
For the first time, I can walk away from drama. I don't want anything to do with that kind of stuff. I don't care. If you want to be miserable and negative, go your way. Leave me alone.
I'm over here in the corner just like, oh, I'm relaxing. Everything's fine. You go over there and dance up and down and try to be all, up in the drama and all that. And you just do your thing. I'll do my thing,
Yeah. You don't need to get involved in that stuff. And I'm sad for people who do and blame everyone else and just take responsibility. I only changed, not that I was ever a bad person. I can't say that, but I did make a lot of bad choices. I thought I could fix everyone. I thought I had to impress everyone. And when I let all that nonsense go and found who I was, and
you just took another step into your growth period of another step up. Like maybe you went up to a higher grade. I look at it as I graduated at that class when I had to go through something hard and I learned a difficult lesson. I say, oh, well, I went to school in that. I won't ever do that again. Mm-hmm. But Randy said, Josie, when I am live, smiling and being positive, I am giving strong positive energy to everyone watching. They just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, absolutely. And then don't take this critical, but I do have a hard time when someone gets in, and I love when people ask for prayer, but when they go on and on about something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and all of a sudden everybody is in the chat is down. You know what I mean?
It brings it all down.
Everyone. I bet there isn't anyone. There's 10 people in here, and I bet everyone has had tragedy in your life. You've lost a loved one. You maybe married the wrong person. You might have spent too much money. We all have history. None of us are perfect. But if you can just share a smile and love, and accept people for who they are and not try to change them, maybe sometimes you just plant that seed.
And realize that the world does not revolve around you and that your story is not worse than someone else's. Because I'm going to tell you, you can tell your story, but I guarantee you, if you're not the only one that has been through what you're going to talk about, because there's nothing new under the sun. You hear me? There's nothing new. Everything is, people go through the same thing. It may be a little different story, the way different characters, different people, but your story, I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not something that somebody else hasn't went through.
Yeah. And if you live long enough, it's like at my age, I have one uncle alive who's in his 90s. but all the older generations gone. I don't have, my parents are gone. One of my brothers. I mean, you're going to lose people that you love. It's, you can't get away from it.
We're all going to come to that destiny.
And I just think, well, the Lord's blessed me. I'm still here, you know? And so I don't dwell in, you know, like I was laughing. I told my daughter-in-law, I said, well, my address book is getting pretty thin.
That's funny.
And she said, what do you mean? I said, they're all dead.
They're all out of here. They left. Hate is so much easier than showing love and mean it. It's harder. So true. Peace is loving those as God loves you. Right.
Yeah.
And Randy said, oh boy, did I marry a few wrong persons.
Randy, how many times have you been married?
Me too. My favorite and my only true uncle is still alive at 94. Oh, that's awesome, Randy.
I have one.
I'm just asking, Randy, just how many times have you been married?
I've been married 4 times, Randy. Can you beat that?
Oh, she's on her 3rd.
Oh.
Oh, let me tell y'all this. My mom's been married 4 times. My dad's been married because I didn't find my biological father till I was 32. That's a whole different program.
Story, yeah.
But he was married 7 times. My mom makes the 7th person.
That's the 25. Well, I had one husband who died of cancer, and we were married 17 and a half years. And that is, talk about not pushing your beliefs on someone. When I married my husband, he thought everybody that went to church was a hypocrite. He had been to many, many churches in his life, and he knew how I believed, but I never once lectured him. I just tried to live it. And, you know, he actually became a deacon in the church, read the Bible every night. And one day I said, damn, and he got upset with me because I cussed.
He was the one that thought everybody was a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And you were just leading by example, Josie.
That's it. I never once said, you know, you need to do this or you need to do that. And you need to believe like I believe. And it just amazed me. Absolutely.
You know, people will surprise you if you will sit back and allow them to make the choice. They will pleasantly surprise you sometimes, and you don't have to force yourself on that person. No.
If you're a living example, you're better off than, you know, lecturing someone. And we're not lecturing, by the way. It may sound like it because I talk a lot.
The first one was a stupid mistake, but I got my son. Nice gift, children. Second one was idiocy, being an idiot. I guess that's what she says. Third has faults, but has been a good man compared to the others. I'm not laughing at that because of that, Randy. I'm laughing because of the way you worded it. But I mean, we got to laugh at some mistakes we made or we would cry because I look back now and think, what was I thinking? What, you know, and no matter what people tried to tell me, oh, I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. You know, and try to give me advice. What did Angie do? Angie just went right along and done it. So what did she learn? A hard lesson.
A hard lesson. Like I said, I didn't think anybody old knew anything. And here I am learning that, you know what? Those old people that were trying to tell me something did know something.
They may have known a little bit.
I was just too stubborn to listen.
There will not be a fourth because I'm too darn old to try breaking in another one. Amen. I've had James for almost 39 years. If something happens to James, Angie will be on her own. No. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I stopped dating when I was 70. I decided I didn't want to wash somebody's dirty underwear.
Yeah. Just like, okay, you can handle this on your own.
Yeah. Oh gosh, they may learn more about me than they want to know. And then here, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Healing doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means choosing not to let old wounds control today's decisions, moods, or relationships.
Josie, you know that part that you were telling me backstage about, someone hurting you in your past, and then from that moment on, you didn't make friends. You didn't make. Tell that.
Okay. Excuse me. I was dating this man, and my best friend, who I actually worked with too at the hospital, I kind of got suspicious a couple times when we were all together. She was seeing him too. And I found out, I won't even go into that detail, but I found out. And what bothered me more than losing the man was my best friend.
Betrayal.
And I did, she died a couple years ago, and I did call her and told her that and made amends. But anyway, I was at the point I would not have a woman friend in my life. No way was I ever. After my best friend did that, I said, no more friends for me. And it took me a few years to get over it. And when I did, I was amazed because I made a friend that was like a sister to me, a friend for 30 years. And if I hadn't got over that, I would have missed good friends.
And we were talking about it. How many people did she miss? Them being a blessing to her, or her being a blessing to them.
Hey, I'm going to mute for 1 minute.
Like, during the time that she chose not to have a girl as a friend or a lady as a friend. Think of the lives that didn't touch her, and she didn't touch their life. It just, I look back at things that I've done, and I think, oh my gosh, what did I miss during the time that I was being so, not listening and staying in heartache? What lives did I miss coming through my path that I could have touched, or they could have touched my life? But I was so angry or so upset that I didn't pay attention to what was flowing. And I look back now and think, oh man, what did I miss? What did I miss?
I had to mute because I got lazy. I had my prescription delivered from Walmart. I didn't want to go back to Walmart, and the man didn't know what building, so I had to tell him.
Okay. DL said that she's finally found someone that is really good to her after 2 exes. She didn't think she would ever find anybody else. She said, exactly, Angie, it's hard to not shut ourselves down when we have been hurt so deeply. Yes.
Okay.
That's true.
DL, has that been recently?
Yeah.
I thought, and I didn't want to, none of my business, but I kind of thought when she was moving that something was going on in her life.
I don't know how long it's been now that she has been away from her our divorce, because she did get a divorce. She talked about it.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And so I'm so happy for you, DL. Everybody, there's someone for everyone. I do believe that. And I hope this one is the one for you. And I hope you'll be happy, and everything, will be just uphill, and just, not uphill like a struggle, but everything will continue to go up in a positive way.
Yeah, I thought something had changed in her life.
Yeah, I think she got a divorce, had a brief relationship after, is what she said. That didn't work out because, if I'm correct, she said he was narcissistic.
Oh.
And then she's found this guy. I may be telling a fib now. That could have been somebody else's life. But correct me on that, DL, if I was wrong.
Well, many blessings to you, DL.
Oh, I told her. I said, I hope it goes great.
Yeah.
Abusive and criminal. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Mm.
No, you are right, Angie. Yeah, narcissistic. I thought so. But
Wow.
y'all, this has been a wonderful, wonderful time
Yes.
with y'all. And
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll let Josie say her final
Yeah.
notes that she has.
Me and all my notes. Okay.
She usually has an ending.
My closing message: your past may be a chapter in your story, but it's not the final chapter. Today, you get to choose growth, healing, and hope. You are allowed to move forward without guilt, without shame. And blessings to all of you guys. I hope you get to know us a little bit better, and that we can, give you a few ideas. We're not saying life's not easy for anyone. No. But when you finally learn to accept that you're human, that you are going to hurt, you are going to have good times, you're going to have some fabulous times, but you also are going to have some times that are not so great. It's not the end of the world. You've got till the Lord comes and gets you. Don't waste it.
I told Josie that 2026 for our the calm before the storm is going to be great. I just feel it. It's going to be great topics, great conversation in the chat. It's going to be wonderful. Next month, it's on my channel. In February, we switch back and forth on the channels. And Josie, I'm trying to find my calendar. Let me see on my phone if I can. It's always the second Thursday, everyone.
Yeah.
The second Thursday, the 12th. It's going to be February the 12th.
Yeah.
It's going to be on my channel. And she said, DL said, and beautiful flowers are grown in dirt. Sometimes you have to be in the dirt for a bit. Yep. That's true.
It makes you a better person, though. I look back and, for a while I kind of lived in some regrets, and somebody said to me, but look at who you are today. Look at the difference. If you hadn't gone through all those things, would you be who you are today? And I got to thinking about, you know what? I don't have any regrets now.
It was all a lesson. It was all something to learn.
It was all a lesson. And I've always believed the reason why we are here on this earth is it's like a school. Sometimes we get the A and sometimes we get the F.
And sometimes we have to repeat a grade. Oh my gosh. When you have to repeat it and go through it the second time, that hurts even worse.
Yeah. Anyway, hope you got something out of it. God bless each and every one of you. As I always say,
comment and give us a thumbs up and let us know how you like the program.
And if you have any suggestions about what you would like us to talk about, we're sure open up for.
Send Josie an email. Her email's right there on the screen.
Yep.
And mine is in my bio, so we don't mind taking suggestions.
And I check my emails frequently, so if you have questions too, shoot us an email. Bye, everyone.
Love you guys. Bye.